guys, how are you? How are you guys doing? So I had a little conversation with God this morning, and it does tie into yesterday's video that I posted. And I forget what it is. I said the reason why there's a lot of hostility and all of that happening or whatever, right? And I went through a lot of facts in that video, because one thing about me and God is we have deep conversations every day. Like, I talk to God every day, okay? And when we have these deep conversations, like, he picks my brain and he'll he'll give me specific things and have like words or topics and have me really think about it, and then he'll confirm it to me later on. He confirmed it to me this morning with Leo, okay? I was walking Leo. So he was basically telling me, he was like, remember the video you made yesterday? I'm like, yeah. He was basically saying that one thing about us, like children of God, one thing about us is we try to save everyone. We try to help everyone. When God puts us on to something, like when God puts us on, like he really opens our eyes about something, and he really puts us on, and he really gives us that Jeremiah 33 verse 3, come to me and I will teach you the things that you did not know. When God says, I will teach you the things that you did not know, things that you cannot find, he is talking about something that only he can give you access to, something that only he can teach you, something that man can't teach you, something that the church can't teach you, something that the Bible can't teach you. God is saying, I can specifically teach you this, and something that you did not know that you cannot find anywhere else. And that is through you building your relationship with me. I will give you the sacred secrets of things that you did not know, right? That's why when you have gifts, sometimes it's kind of like, I'm confused about this because, God is showing me this, but that person's saying it. So if that person's saying it's wrong, God, what's going on here? And that's why God always says, you got to confirm with me and not confirm with man. You got to confirm with me, because you may get that Jeremiah 33 verse 3 moment, and someone else may not get that same access. Do you get what I'm saying? And the thing about us children of God is we always try to put people on when God puts us on. It's kind of like, okay, God, you're waking me up, and you're giving me this word, or you're telling me to minister this, or you're showing me something and you want me to tell the people this and stuff like that. And you go out there and you try to say something, or you try to help people, and it's like, those who can hear God, those who understand the gift that you have will understand. But then those that don't have that same gift, or that don't have that same access, they'll have an issue with it. Do you get what I'm saying? They won't understand it. But then as children of God, we'll want to go out of our way to help people. We want to go out of our way to show people like, hey, God can really talk to us this way. God can really help us in our finances. God can really help us in our businesses. God can really help us when it comes to breaking generational curses. God can really help us when it comes to learning our gifts. God can really upgrade our gifts. And we have to understand that not everyone has that same access. We have to stop trying to force putting people on it. We can't. And here's what he specifically told me this morning. He said, you can't take everybody with you. And it's not a lesson just for me, it's a lesson for all of us. We do that all the time. Okay, like it could be like a friend that comes into your life, and it's like they may not have the same gifts as you, or you may be a lot more advanced in your gifts than them, and you're trying to teach them some things that they're not going to understand. And you're trying to put them on, and then they end up having hostility towards you because you're talking about something they don't completely understand. They may think you're crazy. They may not want to be around you, and you get what I'm saying? Or they may have some sort of animosity for the anointing God gave you because they're not on that level, and then you guys have a falling out, right? That's just an example, right? And God is saying, like, you can't bring there's a reason why God says you can't take everybody with you. Because you have to remember something. Your purpose may not be the same purpose as that person's. That's why you have specific access to certain things and the other person doesn't, right? Someone put in the comment section yesterday, when you seek the kingdom of God first, all things will be added onto you. And when you spend the more time you spend with God, the more access you have to your gifts, the more access you have to sacred information. And she is absolutely right, because I noticed that I talk to God every single day. There's not one day that goes by where I don't talk to God, and I literally talk all day. Like I'm a chatterbox when it comes to God. Okay, like I'm talking to God all day. When I'm in public, I'll talk to God like in my mind. Like I'll be talking to him and having conversations with him, and then when I get in my car, I'll literally speak out loud to him. You know what I mean? And not everybody does that. And God had to really remind me of that this morning. Like not everybody has that relationship, because not everybody goes out their way to do that. Do you get what I'm saying? So what he was saying is, he was saying that we have to just continue pushing forward, right? And the people that he brings into our lives, my life, your life, in the future, your life in the future, or where your workplace, wherever you guys are, the people that he brings in our lives that are meant to understand us, they will understand us, and we will know who they are. Those who are not meant to understand us, there's a reason why they're not able to understand us. And we cannot get upset if they are being, if they're being ignorant about something, or if they're choosing not to understand or not to believe. Because some of them are really oblivious to the fact that God can really bless us in certain ways, and God can really communicate with us in certain ways. And the reason why they're oblivious to this is because they don't have that same type of relationship. They don't have that same type of access. Like I said yesterday, so they don't believe everybody else can have that same type of access if they don't have that same type of access. And here's what God specifically told me about that, okay? It's like, imagine you have, God blesses you in your life and you have a testimony, right? You have a testimony about a specific thing. And when you tell people about your testimony and how God blessed you, you'll have those who will deny your testimony and who will dismiss your testimony. And you know why they'll dismiss it? Because they don't think that God can work that way in your life. Why? Because they don't feel like God worked that way in their life. And guess what happens when that happens? You know what God revealed to me? He said when someone thinks this way, guess what it means? It means they don't even have faith in their own life. If they don't have faith in your testimony, and they don't believe your testimony, and you are speaking your testimony through God, what makes you think they have faith in their own life? That means they don't even have faith in their own life. Because if they have faith in their own life, they would understand that God can work wonders in the lives of others. Even if they don't see it in their life, they would understand that it is a possibility for that to happen in the lives of others. But because they're oblivious to that, they block their own blessings. They lack their own faith. And we have to understand that we have no control over how much faith someone has in God, because that's between them and God. They have to build their own relationship with God. You get what I'm saying? So the message what God was saying to me is, if someone has no faith in a testimony, best believe they don't even have faith in their own life, which means that we have no control over that. We just have to continue focusing on Him. We got to continue walking with Him, and we got to continue being grateful for the relationship we have with Him. And if you want a stronger relationship with Him, then be dedicated enough to build that relationship with Him. Do you get what I'm saying? And God specifically said, you cannot take everybody with you. Not everyone's going to understand it. And the levels that He's bringing specific children to, not everyone's going to understand that. Not everyone is everyone is equipped for that level, because they don't have that same type of love for God. Everybody has a fear for God, a religious fear for God, fear to go to hell. My pastor talked about this last weekend in church. Everyone has that type of fear, but they don't actually have that love for Christ. Everybody wants to go to heaven. This is what he said specifically. Everybody wants to go to heaven, and the reason why they want to go to heaven is because they're fearful to go to hell. But my pastor was like, do you fear God? Do you want to go? Do you want to go to heaven because you fear hell, or do you want to go to heaven because you actually love Jesus? There's a big difference, because you actually love Jesus and want to build a relationship with Him, or are you just really strict because your fear of going to hell? Do you get what I'm saying? There's a difference, right? So we have to understand that we cannot save everybody. You get what I'm saying? And that's what God was telling me this morning. He was like, he told me specifically, continue and keep pushing along, continue. You know what I mean? So He wanted me to pass that message down to you guys, because most of you guys have that same problem. Because when I even read the comment section, you guys like, Steph, yeah, that's true, that happened to me too. So we all have that same type of issue, but God had said we have to understand that, people will be oblivious to that fact because they don't have that same type of relationship. They're not gonna, if they don't believe in a testimony, or God could work wonders like that in someone else's life, or they're gonna discredit God's wonders in someone else's life. That means they don't even have faith in their own life. They don't even have faith in God when it comes to their own life. Do you get what I'm saying? So we have no control over that as His children, okay? I love you guys. All we can do for these individuals is pray for them and send them love, and just hope that one day that they can wake up, if it's meant for them to wake up. Do you get what I'm saying? Anyways, love you guys. On to the next message. Bye.